But then we get into our heads and we think, oh, what will my partner think about this? But wait, what is everybody around the room going to think about it? Am I going to get in trouble?
There is that idea that you get into a bubble with your partner and nothing else matters in the sense of who is watching, I don't care. What are people thinking? I also don't care.
I put myself into that professional box. These are the list of things that I'm allowed to do. These are the list of things that I'm not allowed to do.
So we are dancing and the person is crying in my arms. Very quickly, imagine right now how many meanings your mind must be creating around the fact that I shared that somebody's crying in my arms while dancing. I think this is the main secret. It's your ability to observe the body, observe the situation, and not attach a meaning to it.
There were situations where I was in a festival when there was a lot of people around and I'm like, oh, what are they going to think about it? They're going to think that I'm trying to date this person and then tomorrow I'm going to get canceled on social media.
The thing is, we attach meaning to what is happening. And that's where the whole confusion starts happening, in my opinion. We are moved in this life by two powerful forces, which is we do everything in our power to avoid looking bad and to try to look good.
How can you be yourself on the dance floor without worrying about who is watching? Can you stay in the bubble with your partner while being respectful to others in the room? And how do you stop overthinking and just enjoy a deep connection? Well, let's find out. Hello everyone, and welcome back to ZoukNerds. In this episode, Gui and I talk about finding freedom while respecting boundaries. We discuss Gui's way of staying in the moment and my own struggles with feeling judged when a dance feels extra special. Let's explore how to listen to your partner's body and enjoy the connection without the stress. So, let's go! Hello everyone. My name is Alisson Sanji and let's welcome back our beautiful co-host Gui Prada. Hello, Gui.
Hello, Alisson. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ZoukNerds.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about something that is very, very common in our community. And recently, we've had some discussions with students and dancers, friends of the community about it. And it's the fact that sometimes we want to express a certain way when we're dancing. The music, the environment, the partner inspires us in a such special way. It could be energy, it could be flow, it could be emotions. But then we get into our heads and we think, oh, what will my partner think about this? Is this okay? Is this going to be an issue? But wait, what is everybody around the room that can watch us or can see us dancing? What are they going to think about it? Is it okay? Is it allowed? Am I going to get in trouble? And the list goes on. So how can we express ourselves freely in a way that is okay with our partners and with everybody around? In a way that is respectful, in a way that we feel confident with what we're doing and that there is an exchange. So how do we do that, Gui? How do we do that? Because I know for a fact, and we've discussed this in the past, you have this skill of a Buddha to be able to separate you and your partner from the rest of the room. And both of you sometimes can go into this other universe. How does that work? Break it down for us here, humans who don't have the superpower.
Oh, I think everybody has that capacity, but is not yet fully connected with that capacity yet, because it's two things. There is that idea that you get into a bubble with your partner and nothing else matters in the sense of who is watching, I don't care. What are people thinking? I also don't care. The thing is, nothing is set in stone. It's not that we don't care at all. We do care. It's important to consider the circumstances as well. of where you are. I'll give just an example. If we are in a small scene, a small community, and there is only 15 people on the dance floor, then you get in the bubble. And then your 1 hour dance, where your 1 hour dance with one person in a small community will have an impact, right? Because simply there is less people to dance with. So in these circumstances, depending on the circumstance, you are being more or less mindful of those who are around you, and especially your partner as well. The main thing I think that helps me and that has been helping me is the ability to not attach meaning to certain things that are going on. For example, this has happened to me a couple of times. I'm dancing with somebody and I notice there is a change in the breathing. And then I notice that the person starts crying. So we are dancing and the person is crying in my arms. Very quickly, just by saying this, imagine right now or think about how many meanings your mind must be creating around the fact that I shared that somebody's crying in my arms while dancing. We're still doing the basic. We didn't stop dancing. We're still moving to the rhythm. Or then we just sway side to side. So just think about how many meanings you must have been giving to this story. In my head or in my body, what's going on is the following. Oh, the person is crying. And that's it. I don't think, oh, they cry because they're sad. They cry because I don't know what happened. I just ask, is everything okay? And the person says, yes, yes, yes. And stops right there. And I think this is the main skill. Let's put it this way. So if I'm dancing with somebody and the person tenses up the body, my mind goes, oh, the body's tense. It doesn't go like, rejected me. It doesn't go like, oh, I did something bad. It doesn't go to a judgment. It observes what just happened and morphs into that. So adapts into it. So we can maintain ease on the body. So everything that I'm seeking is ease on the body. And by noticing how my partner reacts at every single time, I'm just able to adjust to the flows that are going on there without attaching meaning to it. Of course, not always I succeed. Of course, I'm not in that state of enlightenment. But most of the time, I am able to stay with the observation, staying with what happened. And on the other way around too, if we start the dance with more space and then over time we get closer, I really go to the physical body sensation and the observation of the points of contact and how nice it feels. It doesn't necessarily immediately create meaning around, oh, we are into each other. Oh, this means something else. Is this something else? What is happening? I stay with the experience because now, after all these years, I think I understand better that we are inside a container that allows us to get to a place in terms of connection, in terms of closeness, that we would not get otherwise. And in that container, there's permission to get closer, and there's permission to listen to the body in ways that we don't normally do. And we are helped by the music, we are helped by the environment, we are helped a lot by the technique as well. The tools of the technique allows us to connect with more safety and with more confidence and with more awareness. The last thing I want to share, and understanding that this activity that we do, partner dancing, especially Brazilian Zouk, forró, other dances that we have the embrace, this activity serves a big purpose to nurture our bodies. There is something that is very nurturing about it because we are human beings that need physical touch, they need physical connection in order to exist in the first place. And partner dancing provides us with an environment that allows us to have exactly that, to have that tenderness, to have that nurturing. I remember, and I think I shared these times before, that when I was still working as a lawyer, my social dancing of the week was 45 minutes on a Friday with one single friend. I would schedule with her. We'll meet at the door. We'll dance the whole night. And then I'll go back home for like 45 minutes, sometimes on the clock. Sometimes we would on the clock, boom, 45 minutes, we will dance. And then we will be going back home afterwards. Because I spent the whole week sitting on a desk, looking at a computer, looking at numbers, looking at cases, thinking about cases, shaking a lot of hands with firm hands, like to keep you away from the other person. The nurturing that I had was getting home, hugging my mom, hugging my brothers. But I needed more. I needed this physical connection aligned with movement, because movement was also another thing. So I need movement, I need creativity, I need a place to express, and I need physical nurturing. And I also wanted it to be safe and reliable and fun as well, because I wanted to go crazy. I wanted to just do everything I knew how to do. It was almost like a way to put stuff out, off the week. And that was it for me. That was the thing that I needed. And I was happy. And I'll go back home on a Friday and watch Globo Repórter. For those who are from Brazil, you know what Globo Repórter is, which was like a thing we had in Brazil on Fridays. I think we still do. There was a mini journalistic documentary thing every week about a specific topic. Remember, Alisson, Globo Repórter?
Yeah, it's like the 60 minutes that there is in North America or in Australia. It's that 60 minutes focused documentary about something, sometimes light and gentle, sometimes pretty heavy.
Yes. So I would leave the firm at 6:30 or something, meet my friend 6:40 because the studio was really close to where I used to work. And then, guys, I was home by 8:30, by 9 I was home. I've been happy. I would order a pizza, watch Globo Repórter, and then that was it. So that was what dance was for me for some time. I just needed that nurturing. So in the end, I think this is the main secret and the hardest one. It's your ability to observe the body, observe the situation, and not attach a meaning to it. It's very hard, especially if you're not used to it, especially if you're not used to a certain level of connection, a certain level of tenderness, a certain level of closeness that is not with your intimate partner, that is not with your family, that is not with your friends. You go out, there's a stranger, and you connect to that stranger, dance to the rhythm a little bit, and oh my God, I love this stranger so much. I want to hug this person tighter. But then you're like, oops, but what's the meaning that this stranger is going to give to my hug? It is a very fair wondering, super fair wondering. So learning the skill of staying in the observation, I think if I were to say anything about how to deal with this, I think that would be the first one. Right now, after this podcast, when you go through your dance life, observe, watch people dancing and see if there is a hand on the neck of somebody. Are you thinking, ooh, they're into each other? She likes him very much. Oh, they're definitely lovers. Or are you able to just see a hand on the neck and say, it's a hand on the neck? What about you, Alisson? How is that for you?
That's very tough because before we started recording, I was sharing with Gui that I've felt exactly like that for forever. I mean, like my brain just overthinks about everything and anything in my life. So I've had dances that I felt a certain way, that I wanted to connect a certain way, but right away in my brain, I was already thinking, oh, but no, this is not allowed, or this is not something that I should do as a dance teacher. This is not a place where I can express myself fully because I'm here surrounded by students. There were situations where I was in a festival when there was a lot of people around and I'm like, oh, what are they going to think about it? They're going to think that I'm trying to date this person and then tomorrow I'm going to get canceled on social media. Like all of those things that as an artist, I think about just because it's me. I'm not going to blame anybody else. But as a student, as a dancer, we hear that from a lot of people who are concerned about the other person, how they feel it. But most importantly, they're concerned about how other people think about them, right? And I think that's very valid. I think that's a positive thing for us to be concerned and to be worried about, because we want to have clear boundaries. We want to have respectful dances. We want to have a safe community. But how to express yourself, how to get to that place where both of you feel safe enough to express? That's the first big question. And second, which is the negative one, I would say, is for the people who are very comfortable with it. I would dare to say too comfortable with it, which then becomes a problem in the community. People who sometimes says, hey, I'm here to dance and I'm just here to explore. So why do I have to be restricted by those things that you guys talk about, safety in the community and this and that and this and that? We have problems with people getting banned from communities, classes, events, because they're too comfortable with it. So how do we go about understanding the line and understanding what is okay? When is it okay? You've talked about body tension. You've talked about contact positions. So for everybody listening here, Gui, how would you frame this in maybe a spectrum of like, from here to here, this is fine. From here onwards, you better check. And from here to there, it's definitely a no game unless both of you are in a very special scenario.
You were asking in the sense of non-verbal, right?
Not necessarily. I think let's open up, like, how do we go from starting maybe with non-verbal and then moving into verbal, all of the things, however you want to put this, because I can think about different scenarios where a simple verbal question and answer can make things very clear and safe. But like we've discussed before in this podcast, there are moments where people, they don't feel very safe to express themselves as they feel. So they might be feeling a certain way, but not say it because they're dancing with a person or in a place where they feel the pressure to continue instead of allowing themselves to stop. So there's that too.
There's that too. Depending on the environment that they are, depending on the context, they would stop otherwise, but they don't. I have seen, for example, I have known about situations in which the follower is dancing with the leader, completely not comfortable with it, it's not going well. But then a videographer shows up, boom, put the video, put the camera on, put the lights on, and the person stays because he doesn't want to, now that everybody's watching and there's a light on you and there's a camera on you, you don't want to make a scene, let's put it like that. So the circumstances truly make an impact on all of this. Well, this is hard, man. This is a very hard question. I will start with the ideal scenario. What is the beautiful world that we all would like to live in? In this ideal scenario, I think we would, in partner dance situations, be very connected with the cues that the body involuntarily sends when it's uncomfortable or when it's comfortable. When I mentioned that example of the tension, felt the tension, and not attaching a meaning to the tension, what I mean or what I'm doing is I'm listening to the body. There was a tension that was created, therefore, I respond to the tension. If the tension was initiated to create distance, I will stay in the distance without trying to get closer again. That's the thing. And while you stay in the distance, I am not in my head saying, God damn it, we are far now. Oh no, I'm being rejected. Or what just happened? We should be close. This is not the way he goes. Like, we should get closer. Therefore, try again. Or, oh, they don't know what they're doing. Let me show them how this is supposed to be done. And then you force something. So for me, in a beautiful, ideal scenario, we are first listening to the cues of the body and just responding to them without creating stories in our heads why the body is reacting the way that it is. Because sometimes, on the other hand, when the body gets comfortable And like you said, Addison, when it gets too comfortable, some people can go like, oh, okay, so there is an opening here. Let me try to do something, or let me do something, because they are for sure interested in me. So the story feeds the desire, that feeds the intention. So all of those things start happening.
Not only that they can think that the person is interested in them, but they can have this idea in their head that this is okay in this community. Well, this is Brazilian Zouk. We're supposed to connect deeply and go way beyond the stars. And that's kind of like the issue where people sometimes express to us and say, well, but this is a connection dance. Why should there be any limits?
Yeah, I think we're talking about a different thing. I think we then talk about somebody that arrived already with this should, and then from the get-go, you start the dances seeking a certain connection.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is a little bit before. You start the dance, boom, with a little bit of a distance, normal. As the dance progressed, you got closer and closer and closer. There was relaxation, there was release, there was surrender of the body into the connection, into the embrace, into the closeness. So you have, cheek to cheek, head on the chest, these things that are more when you signal that there is ease, there is relaxation, you close your eyes, all these things. So I'm saying when we get there, and what meanings we attach to it, the thing is when somebody arrives before the dance with a should, that we must get close because that's what the dance is. And therefore they stop listening to the body and they skip several steps of the relationship creation that exists when we start dancing with someone. Yeah, my teacher, and I think your teacher, Gui Addison, probably said it one time, because this was a very common thing that our teachers used to say back in the days, that each dance is a full relationship that develops over the course of the song or the songs you're dancing to. It's almost like when somebody comes to the dance with a should, they already arrive in the middle of the relationship or in the end of the relationship. So they don't give time to develop the relationship and see where it's gonna go. So what I'm mentioning about this ideal scenario is that people give attention to and mindful presence to the development of the relationship in a ways that the body shows comfort or discomfort. And the thing is, you might not know if it's actually uncomfortable to your partner. What you know is what is comfortable or uncomfortable in your body. And understanding that when forcing certain things, forcing the closeness or forcing the distance, it feels off. Your body is telling you something. The thing is, we attach meaning to what is happening. And that's where the whole confusion starts happening, in my opinion, when we think about this in very basic terms, and not considering the circumstances that Addison said. For example, us as teachers, our survival depends on this dance. Our survival depends on the ability to teach and be invited to places. So we are extra mindful of what people are watching, what they are seeing, and what perhaps they are seeing. So we are mindful of that for sure. So given the circumstances, things change. But considering the two people dancing there, I would say that would be the first thing. The second thing, which I think is as hard as the first thing, is understanding your limits, understanding how far you can go. And that's why people, it's really hard. It's very, very challenging because we are moved in this life by two powerful forces, which is we do everything in our power to avoid looking bad and to try to look good. So sometimes when we ascertain our limits, our boundaries, it overrides what will be good for our bodies because we are trying to avoid to look bad to that person, look bad to those who are watching. So therefore we override it and then we let things happen. And that's the thing that is the hardest thing. And recently I have been tuning into my internal power of understanding how far can I go in these things and understanding the difference between what I want to do and what I'm willing to do and what I don't want to do or not willing to do. And getting better at understanding what is it that I don't want to do and what is it that I'm willing to do? Because sometimes you don't want to do something, but you are willing to. So give yourself a little bit more flexibility. You go a little more, let me go here and see how it feels, but then realize, I don't want this, or realize I want this. And sometimes you don't want from the start. Or sometimes you want and it becomes a no want. So then it becomes, after the communication with the body, the verbal communication that can be simply, no, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the dance. And you walk away, which again, like we're saying, is very challenging. But then first thing, understanding the processes, the internal processes that are making you stay and they are inviting you to go. And the one that invites you to go, what is overriding this inviting you to go? Sometimes it's like Alison said, there's a should in your mind. Oh, but this person is so advanced. They are so good, I should keep dancing. Oh, it's an artist, a pro. I should keep dancing. Oh, there's somebody filming us. I should keep dancing. Everybody's cheering. I should keep dancing. So that overrode your initial perception that, oh boy, this is not a situation that I want to be in. You know, and then if you are in the situation, once you leave that situation, you keep analyzing, why did I stay? Instead of beating yourself up, which is again, another thing that is really challenging, instead of beating yourself up for not holding the boundaries, is understanding why was it hard for me to hold that boundary and working on ways to make it easier for you to hold that boundary. So I don't know if I answer everything, Alison. There's definitely a lot more to consider, but I would start there.
Yeah, I think you did. I mean, there is so much more to talk about. But I was thinking about another scenario here. And I went really deep in my mind here. So let me organize my thoughts. When I am a leader, I'm more sensitive to how far I want to go or how far I'm allowing myself to go into certain types of connections. For example, when I have a follower starting to dance with me and I feel like they are seeking for that very specific thing, some deep connection, some very close dance or some very steamy fire kind of dance, for me, it's kind of a shock and I'm almost gone straight into the safety net, the safety zone. It's almost like, whoa, too much, too soon. Let me just go and sit in my seat and just behave like a good person. It's almost like a little scary. But even if it doesn't start like that strong, I am still more conservative when I'm a leader. But I was going to my head here and I realized that as a follower, I'm more open to just go. I don't know why. I just feel like as a follower, I want to be taken to any and all experiences. As long as it doesn't hurt my body, I'm game for it. You want to dance close, you want to dance far, you want to play around, I'm all game for it. So I'm kind of like in this moment, having this realization and trying to make sense of why. But the first thing that I can think of is that I'm a primary leader and my role in the community is as a leader. So that is the role that I guess I care for, that I guess I want people to see me in a good light for. But then when I'm being a follower, that's an extra role in the community or a secondary role, which if I'm good or bad, if I do something silly, or even if I cross a line, it's not my primary role. So then I guess I have a little bit more room to play there. I'm not sure if that's the case. Or the case that as a follower, I just feel like I'm more open to it. I am looking for experiences that I don't get as a leader. As a leader, a lot of the times I'm expected to be in a position of providing and bringing something. So as a follower, I want to remove all of that. And I'm like, no, I'm here to actually experience what you're bringing to the table. And once I've understood that, I'm going to put myself in there. I'm not saying that I'm just going to be this follower who doesn't bring anything, but I first want to understand what kind of food and what kind of cuisine we're going to have here. And then maybe I'll make some requests and some adjustments. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to put it out there for you, Gui, and for everybody who's listening. I don't have a point to make about it.
No, that makes a lot of sense to me because it's, as a follower, the story changes. The construct changes. As a follower is a stress-free role because it's not what you are known for. It's not what people have you as a reference for. So inside of the world of permission that we have in partner dancing, a permission to get closer to a stranger and move to music and have a good time. Inside that permission, there is a higher permission that you give to your follower self. They say, you can enjoy more. You can go and do more things because the leader one has a lot of responsibilities. The leader one is what everybody's watching, but the follower one, everybody's going to laugh together. Everybody's going to, oh my God, Jalison's dancing as a follower. And it's going to be more on a playful way and let's go way that I think that the leader self has. And man, that resonates so much with me. I'm noticing when dancing as a follower, a switch goes off in the brain or goes on. And my experience of the dance is much different. I feel a lot less pressure to, I don't know, it's a different way to express. I realize when I dance as a follower and I'm dancing with a leader that I trust and like, I think I get even closer than I get as a leader to a follower that I really trust and like. It's almost like I have different tools at my disposal and I use them all with less fear than I use when I am a leader. So it makes a lot of sense what you mentioned just now. And there's one more thing I wanted to share about the perspective of the follow in all of these things. In my life, I have seen very clearly two different kinds of dance relationship development as a follower. I have seen those who develop the trust over time. So they start to dance a little bit more, with a little bit more distance. And you see over time, the arms, getting more flexible and getting closer and the heads going forward a little bit and the eyes closing and the heads turning inwards versus outwards. There's a slow build in the process of, okay, you're taking care of my body. Here it is. Keep taking care of it, but more because now it's more relaxed. And I've seen the other one where the follower starts the dance like this. Goes, okay, boy, I trust you. Take me places. Until you do something that takes the trust away. I've seen both processes in play. I have been witnessing as a teacher more recently that neither sometimes are taking place. It's almost like the person's not giving the trust right away or not giving the chance for the trust to develop. The trust to get close, I mean here, guys. So the trust to hold less tension in your muscles, the trust to get a little bit closer in the embrace. And I have noticed that there is a third one that plays safe in the sense of to avoid any misunderstandings, to avoid anything. I shall keep this distance the whole time. I'll stay here the whole time, just in case. But then what I've been also noticing too is that when they later come and share, there is a desire to not stay in that state the whole time. There is a desire to trust. There isn't just the trust to trust. And I think that's where I feel very sad sometimes because Brazilian partner dancing is such a beautiful group of dances that gives you a place for you to get close to somebody in a way that is respectful, that is mindful, that is tender, And I know that several people come to Brazilian Zouk because they see that for that reason. Once they get there, maybe because of these things that Alison was saying, that the people that have all these shoulds in their heads, that we should get close or that we should be far, you slowly start developing this little thick layer of protection around you that you still want to keep doing the dance because it brings you joy and you stay in it. But there is something that you feel that is missing that you would like to have. And whenever we talk about this, and whenever I see people talking about this, they tell me, and I can notice as well, that there is a yearning or a desire to find a way around it, to find a way to trust it, to find a way to relax a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes, I do. And I'm in my head here going into my feelings and experiencing all the things. If you watch the episode again, you'll see that my eyes are everywhere because I'm really going through movies here. What you said in the last one really resonated with me because there's been times where I really wanted to continue getting to that place where both of us were going. And I put this stop. I said enough, not because I wanted to stop, not because the person told me they wanted to stop, just because of the pressure that I put myself as a member of the community. In that moment, my follower and I were in the bubble and feeling like nothing else mattered. Let's just explore as far as this magical experience goes. But I told myself, no, this is not the right time. This is not the right place. There's people here. We are in a social. We should be respectful of the environment and not make other people feel uncomfortable with anything or make people feel conscious about the fact that we are having that experience. But when we dance with other people, we don't have that experience. And maybe other people are going to think they're not good enough when they dance with us, with me and with that follower to get to that level. So like, oh my God, so many things in my head that I'm just like, how do I deal with this? And I've said this before, for about 10 years of my career, I was very much in a box because I created that box and I put myself into that professional box. These are the list of things that I'm allowed to do. These are the list of things that I'm not allowed to do. And since then, it's been almost another 10 years that I've been trying to find a comfortable place outside of the box. But I don't know if I want to completely get out of the box or I don't know. I just know that I'm trying to get out of that box. So there's a lot of like that baggage that still holds me and makes me think about what's right and what's wrong, what's allowed and what's not allowed. We in the community, we have a lot of intel about what goes around in the community that maybe a lot of the wide community doesn't know. So we hear a lot of things and I instantly put that on my list of things over on my wall of like, don't ever say this, don't ever do that, because this is not allowed. So as I'm speaking here, I'm trying to understand why and how to deal with this. And I just had a light bulb, which told me to say that it's all about context. I don't know. It just happened. And I think that makes a lot of sense. Because what is allowed, what's not allowed, what's correct and incorrect. Even when we're teaching viradinha, should we rotate this much or should we rotate less? Wow, it depends on the context. So I think that's really, really what we need to understand. And that's why it's so difficult. Because if I'm in a private lesson with a student and the student wants to work in connection and we both tell each other, okay, let's be open and honest when anything feels uncomfortable, that is the place to go. Or if I'm in a training session with somebody, not a private lesson, just a session where it's me and that person in the studio, no cameras, no people around. That's a safe container, safe place. But if I'm practicing with other people in the room, if it's a social, if it's a festival, or maybe even in a situation where you're in a weekender that you are the artist, where there's lots of people wanting to dance with you and have such an experience. If you have such special experience with one person, but with nobody else, then in my head, I just made everybody else in that room feel like they are not good enough. That's kind of like how I feel. But yeah, I need to work. Man.
Yeah,
I need to work on this.
Let's work on this. After this episode, let's have a conversation. Because we need to work on that story. It's very harsh.
No, seriously, I feel like that. Even if I go to a social here in Taipei and I'm having certain connections with a person, or even with my wife, like I want to have that moment with my wife and I'm already feeling guilty that everybody else in the room is not going to have that experience. And I should be somebody who provides a reasonable and equal experience to everybody. Bro, there's a lot of therapy here.
A lot of therapy there. I think the only thing I can say right now with the time that we have left is we have a lot of what ifs there. Like when you mentioned, what if people feel this way? What if? And it stems from that thing we are trying to look good and avoid looking bad. And the third thing is the story. That's the part that we need to talk about, my friend. Is that story. Because when I am in a social and I am dancing, for example, when I'm in Taipei, I remember I was in Taipei one of the last times I was there, one of the most epic times. It was the social for Ariel and Leticia. Remember the social for Ariel and Leticia? They were in that venue where they teach the hustle, where they teach vertical swing.
Beautiful venue.
Remember that? Yeah. And then I danced the last songs with Ting. And I was possessed. I was like, wow, that's how Ariel must feel like.
Yeah,
I've
seen that, man.
Cool. You know, I was feeling so cool. Like, wow, Iago must feel like this all the time. So, Lambadeiro, then switching from Brazilian Zouk to Lambada back to Brazilian Zouk. I was just in the state of flow. It was one of the last times I was in the state of flow. And I was dancing with Ting, and I remember people were watching it. And the story that I was telling myself was just how much fun I could possibly have. And the people who were watching, I was taking their watching as a form of inspiration to inspire back, you know? So that was a story that came, which is very interesting because in the story that you mentioned is, oh, they will feel upset because they won't be able to have that thing with me, and I should be able to have that thing with everybody. And I think the other side of this would be, wow, they're seeing me having this thing. Perhaps that can inspire them to have this thing with somebody else, you know? I do see the expectation that can be created when they come and dance with you, because I had this for a long time. I want to have the Gui dance or the Gui experience. So there is like this thing of coming and I must deliver this thing, you know? But over time, understanding that for me to get to that place, there is so much stuff that needs to happen, so much development. It was with Ting that we have been, you know, dancing almost every day. The social was really nice. The vibes were amazing. You know, you were there, Ariel was there, Leticia was there. So we would have our let's speak Portuguese time and mingle and socialize. So the whole thing was, you know, like you said, the context of everything. And I think everybody could, I don't know if they felt the context or but by their faces and what people came to talk to me afterwards. So it's seeing the magical experiences with a person as a source of inspiration was a way that helped me enjoy that while other people are watching, you know, in a way that they will see people having fun. They'll see people having joy. And they will realize that there is a different layer. Especially imagine a beginner watching and they're seeing us smiling so much, having so much fun, going crazy. And also in the closeness, going everywhere. And they'll be like, man, how cool is that? So when they come dance with me, I can give them a little bit of that. You know, I will not give you them the same, for sure. But I can give them some of that because I'm so nurtured. My battery is so full that when I dance with them, although I might not be able to give the same experience, I'll give them an experience. You know what I mean? That's something that helps me so much to navigate the situations because the nurturing that kind of dance can actually give you more energy to give that to somebody else, even if it's not the same. So that's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like you dance with Ting, your wife, man.
The other Ting.
The Ting that I mentioned is Ting Lu. Look her up. She's amazing. You dance with your Ting, and then that thing nurtures you. And then like, woo, battery is full. And then when you look to somebody else, you're like, get ready. You're about to receive, you know.
So that's the thing. I can relate to that, and I can totally understand everything that you said when I'm having fun, exciting fire dances. But once I get to the emotional, the more vulnerable, more slow and intimate dances, that's when I get really, really in my head. conscious, guilty, and all of those things. So
That makes sense.
let's say, again, with my wife, if I'm having those fire crazy dances, I'm like, come on, yes, everybody, watch. This is so much fun. Look, we can do this. Okay, yeah, let's dance. Somebody's watching and I'm already lock eyes and I'm like, let's dance next song. Like, that's happening. But if I'm dancing with my wife, once again, and we're getting to that place where we want to hug and we want to have a deeper dance, or with anybody else, all of those other feelings come into play. Like, oh, guilt, this is not the right place. I shouldn't be making other people feel a certain way. So many things. Yeah.
Well, in this case, by context, they would see you dancing with your wife. Or like, oh, it's his wife.
Yeah. With her, I'm just like, guys, mind your business. Let me enjoy life with my wife here, Keith. Yes, my wife is different.
Exactly. If it is with another person, I can see that happening for sure. I think the inspiration thing also can happen in the other way. Of like, oh man, look how close that is. You know, I want that too, kind of thing. And I think we will need another episode
absolutely.
to approach all these things, because there are so many things we need to talk about in that sense, especially when we talk about this level of closeness and slowness. And I mean, it doesn't have to be slow in the movement, but it's the slowness in how much you do and how you build everything. So we need more time, and we don't have
all the
any
guilt. All the guilt. Yes. So, well, let's leave this one for another episode. Guys, thank you so much for being here. And if you enjoy this and if you enjoy our podcast, please do us a favor, follow, subscribe, share this with your friends, because it really helps us here in this social media algorithm things. And we want to continue growing and doing this every week because it's fun for us. And you've told us that it helps you as well. So thank you. Beijos, abraços, and ciao.
Bye, everybody.